Good day, everyone. I am Antonio Jose G. De Leon, your moderator for today's panel discussion. Before we proceed, let me introduce to you our panelists for today. We have Miss Ginesi A. Redoblado. And second, we have Miss Shane Giliado. And last, we have Miss Angel Alburo. Now, let's proceed to our panel discussion.
Organizational leadership. In every school, autocratic style of the line staff model functions, and this means that the principals are the managers and the teachers are the employees. Having a good organization, leadership helps to lead groups towards fulfilling organizational mission that includes motivating, understanding, and being creative to help foster positively and give learners a high-quality education. Good leaders contribute an organization. So, in an organizational leadership, as mentioned by Prieto et al. 2019, school leaders help set strategic goals for the organization while motivating the teachers, learners, parents, non-teaching personnel, and other members of the community to carry out the task to realize those goals. Also, the school leaders helps anyone in the organization to lead others regardless of their rank and tenure. This leadership, which is not necessarily come from the top of the organization, is a teacher leader. The school head must be both leaders and managers. So the school head becomes a leader when they lead the school by formulating the vision, mission, goals, including the school improvement plan or SIP. However, they become managers when they see to it that these plans are implemented on time. The resources are available and the persons to do the job are qualified and available. An organization with low performance will never grow without good leadership and management. For having a vision and mission is pointless if the head will only manage. It needs good leading skills, and this is the same with having good leadership skills but does not know the process and proper procedure of managing an organization, so both needs to be equilibrium. According to Kowalski, 2010, the school principal, he stated that outstanding principals both lead and manage, and this is supported by evidence relating to the countless efforts to improve low-performing schools. Those that are relatively well managed usually do not improve academically without visionary leaders. Those that have visionary leaders do not usually improve unless they are well managed. Therefore, this book focuses on both leadership and management roles by contemporary principles. So, what is the difference between leaders and managers? Managers manage the task at hand. Leaders leads towards the future. So this means that the present duties are managed by managers. The future is paved by leaders. Managers are focused only on finishing the current projects, and that is fine. But on the other hand, a leader considers the bigger picture. When the principal is focused only on commanding on the daily tasks that are carried out, then he or she is only managing. But when the principal, on the other hand, is in charge of the school's long-term goals and makes the decision, then he or she is leading. Managers supervise people or tasks. Leaders can be individual contributors. This means that managers have employees, they have workers on their payroll, and but lead with authority. It is not uncommon for the leaders to have no formal title, but the leader is a type of person that everyone looks to for advice and directions in their lives. Contributor. People instinctively follow this person because he or she prioritizes and epitomizes leadership. They have followers because they have influence and lead by encouraging others. Leaders guide people towards success, managers tell what to do. So this means if the school heads are checklist managers, they are unlikely to be considered as leaders. Check boxes aren't the worst thing in the world. If all they can do is to tell people to check boxes, it's not going to work. It's not about becoming a leader, because a leader motivates and encourages others to achieve their goals, and he or she may also provide examples for others to follow. Leaders are willing to give up control, managers set directions for everything. So, when a direct report becomes overly skilled, it might put inexperienced managers in danger. Managers may be inclined to keep their projects and responsibilities close at hand, while leaders are static, knowing that this person is ready for increased responsibilities and a possible promotion. When someone is ready to take on new tasks, the leader rejoices in that. Leaders care about the people, managers care about the numbers. So this means that when a boss could yell at a slow worker to hurry up on his or her pace and might fire an employee who can't keep it together, but an empathetic leader would inquire as to it if there is a problem and propose a solution and can't fire anyone.
Organizational leadership. So, who is an effective organizational leader?
It is having the ability and the opportunity to measure oneself as a leader and the means to build changes when needed. He or she must be flexible towards others with open communication. They must have the ability to motivate others to be at their best or improve more to an individual. He or she must be creative thinking in problem solving and in implementing and developing one's organization. And lastly, they must be resourceful and attentive at everything.
What qualities a organizational leader must possess?
So the qualities that an organizational leader must possess is that they must have an eye for vision for the future and interesting ideas on what they would want to accomplish and the creative and structural planning in getting there. A leader must have courage. Having this quality is that a person is willing to take risks at anything without the assurance of success. It is the most undeniable trait. A leader must have courage. Having this quality is that a person is willing to take risks at anything without the assurance of success. It is the most undeniable trait in a leader, followed by integrity for being authentic on everything we do and is the foundation of trust. The next would be humility, for humbleness is always the best choice, along with strategic planning, focusing on strength to be satisfied.
Thank you, Miss Ginelsi. And now, let's proceed to Miss Shane Giuliado.
How you become a leader. The following are the categories that can be illustrate how people attain leadership positions. Examples are given for each category described below. First is qualified. So, what is qualified? Some people become leaders because they achieve the necessary certification or credential for a position. They may be otherwise meet established criteria or prerequisites that person in authority over them associate with a leadership position. Example of this is a teacher with the highest degree of educational qualification. The second is merited. What is merited? Merited, some people become leaders primarily through faithful and enthusiastic participation and competent performance over time. This leader may be considered to have paid their dues. Examples are a teacher that was once a qualifier in the national competition during college years. Mga teacher, nagtudlo na sila pero ilahang background gani sa ilahang resume is na mga nadaog sa journalism, QuizBee, mga athletic teachers, kana, muna sila ang mga merited teachers. The third is captured. Some people become leaders by campaigning for a position being political or otherwise maneuvering themselves into a position. Leaders in this category may also take positions or seize the position to positive or negative means. Example, mga school principals o mga director, mga guidance, mga sila ang mga captured. Fourth is identified. Some people become leaders because they possess personal or professional qualities that are recognized as beneficial and undeniable and are appropriate for meeting the team's needs at a particular time. Examples are project manager of a business, military general. The fifth is defaulted. Some people become leaders simply because other team members are unwilling or unable to accept the position of responsibility. Examples, someone in a small decision group needs to lead a decision. So let's move on to the skill demanded of leaders. There are three board types of leader skills according to Prieto et al. 2019. These are technical skills, human skills, conceptual skills. First is technical skills. This refers to any types of process or techniques like sending emails or preparing PowerPoint presentation. Second is human skill. This is the ability to work efficiently with the people and to build teamwork. This is also known as people skill or soft skills. The third is conceptual skill. This is the ability to think in terms of models, frameworks, or broad relationships such as long-range plans. So let's move on to the last, leadership styles. A leader is someone who has a goal or focus belief and can convince or influence others to follow it. It would then seem logical that leaders have some form of power by which they can persuade or convince others to achieve the same goal, to adopt the same focus or belief. Autocratic leaders are those who do decision making by themselves. The second is consultative leaders. Consultative leaders allow the participation of the members but make decisions themselves. Third is democratic leaders. Democratic leaders allow their members to fully participate in decision making. The fourth is laissez-faire. Laissez-faire leaders leads the members of the organization to establish their own work.
So, leadership skills and style. So, what action work in favor of achievement the group's goal?
So as your employees get accustomed to achieving goals, ask for their help setting new ones. Setting goals collaboratively results in a greater buy-in, which in return results in a bigger wins. You get the idea. As you watch your team grow, be sure to keep track of the goals they've knocked out.
So, if the group failed, what action do you think didn't work well?
So the failure of the team can start for a number of reasons, but the consequences are the same. Factions are formed, battle lines are drowned, communication stops, and suspension rise. Productivity and efficiently drop off sharply, and any kind of collaboration or innovation is next to impossible. The focus changes from a work to what are the other group is up to and what your next move should be. The end of this team cohesion is mainly characterized by shift from a group-oriented perspective to a self-centered one. The goal becomes individual survival instead of group success and achievement.
How did the group's leader influence the members?
How do the group's leader influence the members? One of the ways of a leader helps a group become productive is by empowering employees to make their own daily operational decisions. The leader offers guidance to employees on how to make a better job decision and helps in the process of employee skills development. An effective leader motivates, inspires, and guides her subordinates to achieve established goals and objectives. Depending on how you make decisions, delegate responsibly, resolve conflicts, and interact with employees. You can influence employee morale, retention, absenteeism, and overall productivity.
Thank you, Miss Shane. And now let's proceed to Miss Angel Alburo.
Instructional leadership. This lesson introduces you to what instructional leadership is all about, including the practices aligned with school-based management, school improvement plan, and working with school stakeholders like Brigada Eskwela. It provides you with readings and activities that will broaden your concepts and understanding about the topic. With the current reforms in the Philippine educational context, school leaders have been confronted with enormous challenges. One of the most critical school-related factors in relation to school leadership that administrators are struggling with is instructional leadership. Instructional leadership defines the work of instructional leaders is essentially paramount since they have to ensure that quality delivery of instruction for each and every learner.
Ni, dali na. 1, 2, 3, and go.
The Center for Educational Leadership has drafted the concept of the framework The Center for Educational Leadership has drafted the concept of the framework on instructional leadership based on 5 core beliefs. Number 1, instructional leadership is learning focus, which measured by quality in instruction and in the quality of student learning. Number 2, instructional leadership work with a team of leaders of which the school administrators serve as the leaders of leaders. Number 3, effective instructional leadership and the improvement of instructional practice is grounded in a culture of public and reflective practice. Number 4, instructional leadership addresses the diverse cultural, linguistic, socioeconomic, and learning backgrounds of the school community. And lastly, number 5, instructional leadership focuses on the effective management of resources and of people like recruiting, hiring, developing,
evaluating, and particularly in the rapidly changing environments. As stated by Timberley 2011, an instructional leadership mindset is grounded in a strong moral purpose focused on promoting deep student learning, professional inquiry, trusting relationships, and seeking evidence in action. Katyang. Instructional leadership aligned practices. Number 1, school-based management or SBM. School-based management with its different meaning has been implemented in wide range social contexts both in developed and developing countries. Caldwell 2004 defines SBM in a system of public education as the systematic and consistent decentralization to the school level of authority and responsibility to make decisions of significant matters related to school operations within a centrally determined framework of goals, policies, curriculum, standards, and accountabilities. It is a decentralized management initiative in which power of authority is given to school heads, teachers, parents, and even the students. SBM has improved the teaching and learning environments of all the members of the academic community. Number 2, School Improvement Plan. The School Improvement Plan or SIP is a roadmap that lays down specific interventions that a school with the deep of help of the community and other stakeholders will undertake within the period of the 3 consecutive school years. 3. Brigada Eskwela. Brigada Eskwela, also known as the Bayanihan para sa Paaralan or Working Together for Schools, is a nationwide initiative by the Department of Education wherein stakeholders are encouraged and empowered to take or part in helping prepare schools for the opening of classes. To sum up, this module highlights are the following. Number 1 is the evolutionary leadership is the capacity to empower oneself and others to effect social change in order to build a just and sustainable world. Number 2, teacher leadership is the process by which teachers influence members of the academic communities where they belong to improve educational practice with the aim to improve student learning and achievement. Virtual or field interview with school heads, application, closure module summary. And lastly, instructional leadership is the ability to ensure quality delivery of curriculum and instruction for students' optimum learning.
So, instructional leadership. What did you understand about instructional leadership based on the report?
Teacher leadership or instructional leadership is a process by which teachers influence members of the academic communities where they belong to improve educational practices with the aim to improve student learning and achievement.
So, how would you describe instructional leadership?
Instructional leadership is the ability to ensure quality delivery of curriculum and instruction for students' optimum learning.
So, that's it for today. Thank you for your cooperation and participation for today's panel discussion. I hope to see you around soon. Good luck and God bless.